Empire iLeague Invitational panel as we are into our second series here on Super Saturday. And Faceless and Newbee will play one more game to determine who goes on and who goes home in the tournament. As I talk to my two co-panelists here, a couple of numbers from that game. 16 black holes in that game used by Newbee's KP. 8 of them were solo onto Ice 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 only. 13 out of the 16 hit Ice Ice Ice. And out of the 250K damage that Newbee totaled in that match, 100K of it was onto black and his doubles. So 40% of their total damage onto black and his Tempest doubles. Just ridiculous.
It probably would have been even more if they didn't have, like, sleep sometimes. To throw in a Tempest double and just kind of leave it there for a while.
Well, as you guys can see, we are into our Game 3 draft as that, Game 1, a relatively straightforward Faceless win as they were ahead pretty much from the get-go. But then Game 2, a marathon affair going 81 minutes. Newbee eventually able to outlast. And boy, you gotta wonder, Lacoste called for it, you gotta wonder whether Newbee does ban that Arc Warden at some point in this drafting Game 3.
Black played that Arc Warden better than I've ever seen anybody play that Arc Warden before.
I agree.
He was super disciplined about making sure that his double was the only thing that was in threat. He was very careful with his hero and its positioning. And then, of course, it was a jabs tinker. Like, I don't feel like I really need to say a whole lot about that. I think we've seen that so many times that we expect greatness. Those two did an amazing job carrying a game that I did not think could actually be that close.
Yeah, I can only agree. Wow, and Faceless, this is how much respect they're giving to the Mugi Troll Warlord, who really was, in addition to being the Tempest double cleaner, just carried all of Newbee on his back for a great majority of that game. They're going to take it away with the first pick. Now, this is probably going to be a black safe lane Troll Warlord, but it's not completely out of the questions that you could see it move mid.
5 seconds.
This is just a high-value hero in general. I mean, obviously both teams want it. I think Faceless ran this more than Newbee did recently, and the Newbee had been maybe picking it up themselves to take it away from them. Just a slight difference at the start of the bans, too. The Clockwork being banned out, as both KP and Kaka have shown pretty good performances on that hero, leaving the Sand King in the pool. So we'll see if Newbee
decides to go that way. I think because the Clockwork's banned, don't you get Sand King as your replacement? The potential 3-4 hero.
I mean, most picked hero in the tournament, but only 2 and 7 so far.
There's still the tree on the table, and if they want to go for a kind of earlier strategy that we've seen from them, again, like you've seen that hero used so well in that role, so there's a possibility for them to go with that staple. There's the Bane again. So
they're going to go back to the Bane, that lane dominator. You saw them use that hero in the dual mid matchup to great success in the last game. I mean, there is a level of hell where you have to play Bane in an 80-minute game all the time, but still, definitely had a big impact in the early game for Newbee.
Bane in Feeble is particularly effective against Troll. Any hero that is more focused on attack speed than damage will feel the bite to the Bane.
Reserve time.
Yeah, talking about that Troll Warlord, you guys mentioned such a high-value pick. I mean, when we talk about all the time in drafting that you need a tower hitter, you need a way to be able to convert objectives, Troll he solves that for your entire team in one fell swoop.
There are very little weaknesses to the hero. One of which I feel like we haven't seen really employed is trying to abuse his laning phase because he doesn't have very good comeback mechanics. If you just take the laning phase away from him and then control early game so he can't take Roshan, you don't really have good ways to come back.
There you go, you called for it.
But the problem is like, he's such a strong laner, it's like, how do you contest him?
This is one of the ways. I mean, obviously Bane being a strong laner, Sand King as well. Before he gets that BKB up, if you can delay that or you can disrupt his rounds of his damage in terms of Bane, in terms of Sand King, like those mini hard disables that just stop him from doing what he wants in a fight until he has that BKB up.
One of the rare times I'm okay with Disruptor, just because I feel like it is very effective versus both those heroes. Because you've got Glimpse, which is a long-range disable to stop Fiend's Grip, and then the problem with Sand King is sometimes it's the damage, but most of the part it's his slipperiness as an offlaner to go in and out constantly and through team fights and always be able to provide this Burrow Strike stun, which is a relatively low cooldown. So having hard lockdown for him is very helpful, and Disruptor gives you that.
Yep, it's also a hero that Faceless very confident with. It's their, I think, it's in their top 5 most picked heroes, and certainly Nuts feels very, very comfortable on it.
How
How many bananas you need? Damn, is he starring up for another 80-minute game?
Oh God, please no.
I think Daryl's got a plan. He's a man with a plan. He's drafting. He's got 3 bananas.
Radiant team back.
Oh.
As long as that
Newbee
plan doesn't
will-
include an Arc Warden.
Yeah, Newbee will take out 1/2 of the problem. Tinker is gone with the 4th ban. Arc Warden's still on the table, but pretty dangerous to commit to that hero in the 2nd phase, I'd say.
10 seconds.
Nice ban. Maybe before they, teams were less afraid that they could rotate on it and shut it down. But again, like as we thought about this patch, and this hero just has offensive and defensive potential, and fits some of the other lane requirements that we expect out of a mid. Is a strong one-on-one laner by himself, and is able to obviously nuke creep waves down very quickly as well. So it's a nice ban, and they haven't been, just releasing jabs and just letting him just throwing him to the wolves by himself. And once he's able to get that up and running, it's been a big part of their strategy.
Newbee coming up on the 3rd and 4th picks here. We're going to find out probably in one of these 2 picks whether or not the Sand King is your offlaner or your 4 position support. Kaka very confident on that hero at the 4.
Ogre OD.
I like the
I don't
Ogre.
think there's too many
I
cores
guess
that you feel good about in this patch against Troll.
I guess you don't need the Ogre. They're going to go ahead and commit to the SCCC Queen of Pain pretty early on with the 3rd pick. Maybe a little even earlier than you need to. I don't like the Ogre for Newbee. I like the Ogre for Faceless perhaps, because I think it shores up your laning support. Right, that's one of the big problems with Disruptor is that he is susceptible to getting bullied in lane, especially when you're talking about a Bane on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, giving Ogre Troll again.
Reserve
I
time.
think that combo's real hard to beat.
Yep.
It's kind of a sneaking
Oh,
suspicion,
boy.
but I wonder if Newbee may try to run something like a Luna this game. So, like not really so much for the clearing jungle or the farming, but being able to give a bit of a buffer in lane, having that source of magic burst early on before the troll has his key items up, and being able to provide some additional push as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Newbee tries something like that this game.
Close out the game. Yeah.
seconds remaining.
Well, the one thing I'll say, going with the Undying over the Ogre, so both the high potential in the laning phase supports, but the Undying differs in that he has that late game scaling option if he picks up that Ags.
Well, this is definitely going to be a single core something.
Yep.
So it is either a hard carrying like Spectre Sven type, or it's a pushing carry because we don't have a building hitter. So you either have to have a building hitter or you have to have a late game hero, or maybe both.
And
Oh, I
Terrorblade
think you need
on the
both.
table for them as well.
What's
A
that?
Terrorblade on the table for them
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
Terrorblade. Yeah, that's another good hero.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the Terrorblade against the Troll, but I feel like Faceless probably picks up something with high burst damage potential for their mid, so the Terrorblade in that case loses a little bit of its value.
Lycan's still up there, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of those pushing carries that also scale.
yeah, I'm down with Lycan as a 5th pick for Newbee.
So how does Faceless, if it's a Sven Lycan type kind of hero? Mobility is pretty good here.
Oh, well,
Action hero for...
it is the counter to the Batrider. We had talked about, we liked the fact in the previous drafts that Faceless had gone away from the offlane Abaddon, putting Ice on some of his more traditional playmaking heroes. But the Abaddon does make a lot of sense in this case as a counter to both the Batrider and the Bane coming out of Newbee.
Yeah, and it's also like if you know the enemy team, they're kind of projecting that they are going to be very aggressive and very likely pushing into you. Abaddon's a great offlaner to defend against that. You just park him in front of these pushes. So if you have the better, late game and you just need to defend against early pushes, I think Abaddon's still an acceptable offlaner. It's just like most of the time that's not going to be the case. Most of the time you're going to feel like you need an initiator instead out of that.
Yeah,
they don't have an initiator at all right now.
Yeah, the risk that you take in the Abaddon there is that the newbie drafter might just choose to go all in and come back with an Ursa. But I think if you do that, they don't have enough tower hitting.
And this it depends part of the game plan, right? Because we didn't kind of like this kind of lame duck lineup with the Lifestealer, Abaddon, Disruptor, Troll. Like essentially a very similar lineup to this that didn't have any initiation for them. It also depends if the pressure is on you to take fights or control tempo or not. If you have a better late game overall team fight, then the pressure isn't really on you to do that. So maybe this lineup looks a bit different for Faceless in this game, and it works out differently as well. Or if Ice is put into a less greedy build, which might have been an issue last time with that 35-minute Radiance coming out and just needing too much farm on those multiple cores.
Yeah, so we couldn't see it with the overlays up on the screen, but the two heroes I was thinking about, the Ursa and the Alina, both taken out by the respective teams with their 5th ban. So Faceless still need that mid hero. The Tinker and the Alina are off the table, as well as they've taken out the Invoker themselves. Other Jabs heroes, the Ember, the Storm we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I was thinking about Storm, but there's a pretty good amount of control on the side of Newbee. You may have the Abaddon, but
yeah,
it'd be funny if they sniped or something.
I guess you could OD against the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, it's another defending hero against Bane Batrider too.
It's potentially greedy, but if they go for like a Medusa or something as well, I think it would require so much burst damage. To be able to bring down. Oh, there's the Slark.
Okay, so this is a mid troll, and this is a black Slark, and the Medusa I don't think you can do because I think Newbee can so easily come back with the Anti-Mage with their 5th pick. But this needs to be, I would guess, a Sven here from Newbee.
10 seconds remaining.
Sven's probably the best hero against both
it's
Troll
going to be TB,
and
you guys
Slark,
brought up earlier. Okay. I mean, you don't have a lot of burst damage on the side of Faceless to bring down that Terrorblade. And you don't have much minus armor either. It's not a bad draft.
So Newbee needing a very precise laning stage as usual. You secure an early advantage, need to be able to take objectives. I think Faceless has more than guaranteed themselves the mid to late game with this draft. Yeah. They kind of just have to survive and outlast, it feels like.
What do you guys
Troll
think?
mid, Slark safe lane.
Yeah.
Like Slark doesn't particularly do well against ball lineups, and Troll is not a mid that creates a whole lot. What's their off lane?
Abaddon. Yeah,
that doesn't make a whole lot happen either.
I don't think their core. I don't think their cores are do stuff heroes. That's my big problem.
They're very passive.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Newbee here.
I think Newbee.
I'm still with Faceless. I think Newbee put themselves on a timer, and I'm not sure if they'll be able to do it.
All right, well, as you can see, our panel here is split, heading into a close game 3. One game, it is win or go home for Newbee and Faceless. One more time out to our casters. Here are Coddle Guy and Lacoste.
Thank you, Nahaz. Hey, Lacoste, you ready for game 3?
Yeah,
Let's do it, brother. So we have Newbee putting a lot onto what feels like a single core Terrorblade, but the rest of their lineup can get a lot of work done in the laning phase and just kind of, evolve nicely through the game, where, as Kat mentioned on the panel, for a team like Faceless, you have a lot of heroes on Faceless's side that just need a lot of nourishment, a lot of time, and they're just going to be really slow at the gate.
The problem for Faceless will be they have a Slark and a Troll. Both heroes need so much time to get into the game. They need items, and I'm not sure about the laning stages. They might go for Abaddon and Undying on one lane. That's a strong lane, but then they have to face Batrider on the bottom lane. Slark does good against him, but also Batrider punishes that lane.
I am also very curious to see how the laning will be distributed here by the side of Faceless as we get underway. It's game number 3. Winner will be moving on. Loser will be out of the tournament. It's as simple as that. Newbee have fought their way back through a long and very exhausting game number 2 to get themselves to this position, and now feel like drafting favorites. We'll have to see which team is going to be advancing into the next round to face. Is it Alliance? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's going to be Alliance.
Okay. Actually, I don't know if that's right. They didn't play in this group.
No, but they will face Alliance.
Vega? It's either Vega or Alliance. I'm totally mind blanked right now. We shouldn't even brought it up. We're gonna get underway here. Mugi to the top lane. For now, it looks like they are gonna be leaving Ice 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 to his own in that top lane, and they just keep more of a defensive tri lane here with the Undying, which is definitely going to be tough for the bats. So we might see a possible audible call here by Newbee if they want to change things up a bit.
There's the item build on Ice Ice I was talking about. You can't go anymore for that PMS on your offlane hero. So 8 tangos and healing salve because there's no shrine anymore. Also, he manages to steal the rune from Terrorblade.
Yeah, so 3 of them are going to be going to Faceless. That's a good little head start.
Yeah, but what is that lineup on top? I mean, Ice Ice is just going to dominate the lane. It's 1 versus 1 matchup.
Yeah,
Abaddon against Terrorblade.
An aggro setup here for Newbee is a bit peculiar. I don't know if they read the lanes accordingly, but now it's going to be just Ice 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 pulling the lane all the way down and under his tower where he likes, but it does look like Mugi is going to be able to do a pull himself as well. But big win-win for both sides, more so for Abaddon if he continues to have this kind of a matchup. And what used to be a 2-on-2 mid lane is looking like a 3-on-3 soon. We have people all here at attendance kind of scouting out. Waiting back in the wings, you have this Sand King ready to strike potentially.
They don't have enough damage to kill neither of these heroes. I mean, Undying has 900 HP, Troll has PMS. You don't just have enough damage to kill him with 3 level 1 heroes.
So a little awkward at the start, but it does look like they are going to be rotating that Sand King down to the bottom lane at the moment. Disruptor's going to be able to pull through the wave, and Slark is content on his matchup in the meantime. Let's check out things up here at the top. It's the Ice 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 matchup, forcing Mugi back. Mugi is in transformation, and he's the one running away here.
Yeah,
it's like, look at this.
Ice Ice is just the king of offlane with Curse of Avernus, and he bought Orb of Venom. He can just man-fight him, especially when he is in melee form. And there's Bane who's on mid right now. Bane needs to rotate top ASAP. Also, there's another melee support, Kaka. So even that Abaddon can even trade hits against Bane once he comes up.
Yeah, because by the time he goes up there, he's going to have a couple of levels, and that lane might be getting away from him here. For now, Faith is trying to fight it out for where he thinks the rune may spawn. Trades a bit with the Undying, but they'll have to take his business back to mid lane. So Newbee just putting more priority on assuring the mid lane start for SCCC over what's going on with Mugi here up and above. So Ice 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 is going to be coasting through a wonderful early game. Batrider as well, though, is also getting a good chunk in the offlane, it would appear. I mean, KP's 9-2, and how nice. A regen rune there waiting for him.
And that's why he went so aggressive. They have a vision of that regen rune. And now with Sand King rotation on bottom, Black needs to be careful, especially Nuts. He has no Boots of Speed, no Wind Lace, no nothing. So with just 1, maybe even 2 stacks, Sand King with Boots of Speed can get really easily next to him.
XY's rotated up to the top lane. This is already a decent pairing, but now they're going to try to give it more of a heavy-handed advantage for Faceless at the top, and trying to muscle out the Terrorblade from the lane, or maybe force a pull rotation from the Bane elsewhere. Currently, Faith is scouting things out from behind the tier 1. Oh, and he spotted Jabs. He's looking to make a move in. Hits him with the Enfeeble. SCCC makes the blink commitment behind the tower. The Whirling Axes will come out. Jabs will have to turn the corner. Rotation does come out from Nuts, stepping away from that bottom lane, and he'll be here to assist in the meantime. While top lane, look at the deep commitment in. They're going to try to get a hold of Mugi here, but they need one more right click to do it. Can he get it? Yes. It is going to be XY able to smack him down. He tries to run back and away, using the decay to keep him alive. Ice 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 unfortunately doesn't really have the mana at the moment to bail him out, but obviously a well-worthy trade for Faceless here. First blood plus taking down the Terrorblade. Yeah, thank you very much. Ice Ice Ice, though. Faith's there. Ooh, he jukes him into the trees. Can he go around the corner? See you later, nerd.
Oh, what a player, man.
Goes a do-si-do around the tree and just slips out. Very well done. Very well done. We'll get him back. No shrine, unfortunately, to fall back on yet. Still needs about 50 more seconds, but still.
I'm surprised Newbee decided to send Bane on a mid lane from the start, and even Sanking wasn't on top. I mean, it's a Queen of Pain. You can't really get that much harassed from Undying. You'll get some DKs, but Troll really can't get close to you. That was a big mistake.
Newbee are putting in work in this mid lane, and the attention they have on this mid lane is really, really serious here. Faith's back in the mid lane now for the moment. They had Kaka also, but now they're thinking about sending him up through the river here. XY steps in. He gets hit with the Burrow Strike. And will now be dealing with a couple of supports here. Rotating over and above, though, is going to be Ice, Ice, Ice. And he could help this make it a bit more favorable for Faceless. But now SDC is able to step into action. A nice glimpse send back. Could help make this fight a bit more even, but they are going to be able to get the takedown of XY. He's the first to drop, and then the other way will be losing Kaka. They're moving on forward. Can they get a hold of Faith? Yes, they can. It's a double kill now for Ice, Ice, Ice. Him and Jabs, arm in arm, will be able to run out the other direction, and even though it's a 1 for 2, just feels so good for Faceless. Ice, Ice, Ice is getting a lot in this early game.
Yeah, that's what Newbee made a mistake about. They let him have those levels. He's level 5.5, 5 minutes in. It's really not good. I mean, and they don't have anything like the counter Baton with.
I mean, they have Bane up here now, and they'll hit him with Enfeeble. Luckily, for them, he doesn't have a wealth of mana to work with. Otherwise, he would simply just shield off the Enfeeble and get back to work if necessary. But now this relieves things for Jabs in the mid lane. The Troll can just kind of deal with the Queen of Pain and be able to at least get a little bit of something for himself.
One thing, Enfeeble can't be dispelled. That's the thing.
Thank you for the correction there.
That's why I'm here.
Thanks, brah. All right.
Oh, double damage, Queen of Pain on mid.
Oh, jumping commitment. Swings it about the
Bash.
Sonic
Bash?
Wave.
Bash?
Oh, RNG, RNG. Not going to quite be there. SCCC eats a few more right clicks from the creeps, but oh man, he barely holds on.
Once again, I called the bash and he hit it.
That's what you got to do. You got to call for bashes if you want bashes. I got to hear him scream from the stage, bash. So good head start. Just as much as things are going well for Ice, 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 SCCC is also getting a lot himself. Bottom lane, Tombstone going to be committed, but Kaka has the Sandstorm and just hides under it. No detection available means he can get away with avoiding a lot of the extra trouble. While KP has rotated from that bottom lane up towards the mid side, and they're going to get some damage onto this tier 1, bringing it now below half of its life.
They forced Abaddon's borrowed time on top, so he needs to be careful for the next 50 seconds. KP and SCCC using that shrine just to region up. What's Troll's farm? 28 CS. Not that bad, considering he has 1 death.
It does feel like Newbee are getting a grasp back on the laning phase a bit. It felt like it could have been getting away from them with how much attention they were putting towards the mid lane and not getting a whole lot out of it while leaving Ice to get so much. But they have been making some nice shift around plays. They got that nice takedown for SCCC, and things are kind of coming back their direction here. KP's got his Tranquil's done. You could see if he decides to push forward straight for the Blink Dagger next. Here's Kaka. He's going to Burrow Strike right on past Faceless and head out the other direction and be able to rendezvous with his team. Ooh, how about I take this bounty rune first? Nice snag there for him.
Kaka almost level 6. Really good levels on him. Also, Batrider is gonna hit level 6. And there's a Disruptor level 4, Undying level 3. Oh, send back, but
it's a little awkward. Ooh, Burrow also gonna miss.
Awkward number 2.
Yep. Hey, maybe nerves, whatever it may be. They will play a little bit of footsie, but that will be the end of it, and they head out the other way. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Sand King obviously going to be blessed with that bottom lane. As KP had rotated up through the mid lane, it allowed the Sand King to kind of get a good solo opportunity to kind of get to that level 6 faster.
For Faceless, what I see, that it's going to be a problem during the mid-game fights. They don't have any initiation. They have good tanks, but they got nothing to initiate with. They have Disruptor's Glimpse, and that's pretty much it.
Jabs pops up the Berserk a bit.
Radiant's middle
Dances
tower
around with SCCC, but nothing will really end up coming of it here. Darnell back at the top lane. It looks like he's going to be picking up the Vlads first before moving forward for anything like a Midas or Radiance or anything of that nature.
I really want to see how he values Midas right now and in these kinds of a game. Maybe against the Terrorblade, he might actually go for one, just to get those extra levels, get to level 25 as fast as he can.
When you say it's because of the Terrorblade, do you mean it's just because it's
it's
expected the game's going to go a bit longer, or
Yeah.
what is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
they
mean,
know they can bank
Faces
on it.
don't have any tower hitters besides like Troll.
Ooh. See you later, Nuts. SCCC now on a killing spree as he just evaporates the little Disruptor with the help of the Sonic Wave.
Radiant's middle
SCC in all 3 games getting a lot of kills during that early and mid game with Queen of Pain and Shadowfiend in the first game.
He does love to work well with these tempo kind of heroes and already finds a couple of good kills after reaching that level 6 and obtaining that Sonic Wave.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
XY is stalking things out through this top lane. They actually planted an Ops Ward to help him get a little bit of extra vision. Black now creeps into the lane. And it looks like Faceless are here to kind of quickly claim a tier 1 if possible. But they pulled Black entirely out of that bottom lane. In fact, the bottom lane is totally vacant and just easy for Newbee to just pop the Metamorphosis and claim the tier 1. But now they're thinking about making a move in. Daryl almost securing another courier kill, this time in game 3. The courier is able to make it up through the woods and out from trouble.
Dyer's middle tower
close
is
there,
under
bud.
attack.
Oh, Troll might need to switch his item build. He has Vlad's queued up. Abaddon
yeah.
is building one.
Is under attack.
Yeah, that is true.
Two Vlads are not that good.
Dyer's
No,
top tower
no.
Two Midases are good.
Probably go for what, like the Yasha, the more typical get-up?
Yeah,
Radiant's
but the
structures
thing is you
are
can't
fortified.
flash farm like you can with
Radiant's middle tower is
Vlad's.
under attack.
It's
That
true.
extra mana region
Get
is really
Mask of
big.
Madness instead, you know. You could split it off later. We'll have to see what Black decides to do, because you're right. Or unless Daryl decides to change his mind. I'm not sure if he already made the commitment in for the Vlads or not, but it is something that they'll have to watch out for. Okay, Faith. Nice little advancement from his support play. I can appreciate a good deep ward from time to time. It's one of those kind of cases where you're throwing yourself into the deep, and you may die for it, but if you're able to get that ward down, you're going to be providing your team some ridiculous
deep is your ward?
It's about 2 towers deep. So they have some good vision there, and they'll see any possible early rotations from Faceless or even smoke catches. In fact, it looks like they may have smoked. Yeah. And they're already heading up that way. I don't think that ward spotted it, though, so Newbee could be at risk of being caught out here.
The Chinese teams love to go for that position. 4 Sanking might have to wait for that.
Ooh, they see Batrider, and he just takes to the skies, up to the high ground. The Tombstone also going to be committed, but it should be easily taken apart. So Faceless might not be their best opportunity for a fight. SCC jumps into action, then jumps to the other side. Kaka, though, leads it home with a huge epicenter. The Sonic Wave on top of it is just mwah! And this is a wonderful fight for Newbee as they quickly shred down 2, and it looks like they're about to get the grasp of the Abaddon as well. Triple kill. All these kills being KS'd up by Kaka, the man.
That's what I was saying, lack of disable on Team Faceless. They used the Glimpse. They didn't even want to commit to Disruptor ulti, and Batrider just flew away. Also, big combo. Sanking just bought his Blink Dagger. I was talking about Chinese teams and how they like to play position 4 Sanking. You get pretty much the same timing on that Blink Dagger if you're playing it in the off lane as well. And big Queen of Pain ulti again. They're going for Undying.
Yep, they don't even need the lasso or anything. They just get the simple lockdown, the help of the Flame Break, and they torch him up. Now the Undying going down. This thing feeling a little bit like the last game where it got out of hand pretty early for Newbee. Oh man, now Ice steps into the lane, and just as fast he will have his borrowed time already triggered. Mugi has some more transformation time, so he begins to go in on this tier 2, while Black is just trying to split the pressure. As expected from the draft, this is just a lineup that just is going to need time. They need serious amounts of time. They're hoping to take this to like late game when that they.
What do you mean by late game? Late game like last game?
Like last game. I don't know, 40, 50 minutes before Slark and Troll can both be late game cores? XY, I think I've seen this before. Deja Vu goes down again in the mid lane. SCCC picks up that one, is now dominating on his Queen of Pain, while up and above, it looks like Nuts has found a chance to make the jump on the Bane.
That's not a good goal.
If they can't get the finish, it's certainly not. Well, they will finally get him down. It's a hard commitment to take down a little Bane, while on the other side, look what they've been able to grab. It's Jabs. They hog tie him up, pull him back into action. Jabs is like, I want the Troll. He wants to farm through the jungle camp. Nuts will rotate over from that earlier
Is the
gank.
shrine ready? Yeah.
Nice. They will be able to tag back, hit the showers,
No
get some
mana.
more reinforcements, and KP will take his leave.
No mana on Queen of Pain there. Someone canceled the TP top, didn't see who. Maybe they decided to go for Troll instead of saving the private Bane. I love the build on Batrider though. He went for drums because Sand King picked up and had enough gold. That's probably what they're talking about. Okay, I'm gonna have Blink Dagger pretty soon. You might go for those drums, tank up, have that extra movement speed.
And while Faceless really have no strong initiation, you're about to see Newbee have two amazing initiators available to him, plus a Queen of Pain to be able to blink on the back of that. The jump game from Newbee is quite ridiculous here. It's a lot for Faceless to have to fend off here in the mid game. It's even more than the last game. Last game they also had a lineup where they were hoping to kind of hit their stride once the Arc Warden became a serious problem, and Jabs had a lot going on his Tinker after the buildup of the Boots of Travel and the Blink. This one feels like it's going to need even more time to mature up. Some pickoffs here would help a lot if Black can get a hold of something. Doesn't seem like he will though.
Black just finished his Lotus and or Shadowblade. So he's on the hunt.
How you doing? Oh, jumps right in, gets the Pounce connection. The Stag Storm also will help secure them a second takedown now on Faith. But bottom lane, again, just like last time, while you're getting the jump on our Faith, we're going to possibly get the jump on your Jabs. Looks like Jabs will avoid this one, though, but he can't even farm in the lane. He's going to have to wait and run out the other direction.
That's the problem with Troll being played on mid. All right, he is aggressive, but he needs some kind of rotation, something that he can kill with, and Undying is not that hero.
All right, Blink Burrow's setup. They're looking to see if they can bring Ice down. He's surrounded by three. There's the borrowed time. Now the fourth comes in. The fifth is also here. So much hate. And now they can move it right to the Roche pit. Yep. Metamorphed up, they can go right into action. This game is feeling super clean for Newbee right now. Very nicely done. Dropping down the sentry and everything. This one seems to be all in theirs. No problems at all.
All right. I was talking about Troll being mid and Abaddon going for Vlad's. He's going to have mana problems, so he just decides to go for Aquila, which is good.
It is taking them a little bit of extra time, but look at this. KP's already taken to the skies to scout things out. They drop down the Veil, and Faceless are going to be sent back the other way. Okay, cute little glimpse back onto KP. They hit him with the Thunder Strike. XY's trying to move in. The zombies are also slowing him down quite a bit. Okay, then SCCC jumps in with a Sonic Wave and says, step off. Blast down XY. Black is trying to creep in here, but this is Sentry on the ground. They're going to see him. They hit him with a Veil. He pokes to the Roche. He gets hit, but he actually happened to pack off the Fiend grip, and he'll be fine. The Burrow Fall is there from Kaka to slow down Faceless's approach. And Newbee still maintain order around the Roche pit. Ice is back into action now.
Batrider with an ultimate. Has enough gold for Blink Dagger. Doesn't have it yet, though.
No. Can't quite get in there to grab the lasso play, but there's the Epi move right on top of Black, and they'll be able to take him down. This fight belongs to Newbee, and Faceless quickly scamper out the other direction. Can they make it away, though? I don't think so, XY. He's slowly getting stacked with a bunch of sticky icky, and slowly is trying to make his way out. KP still looking to chase. He's got the lasso, looking to go for the pullback. Meanwhile, they secure the takedown of Nuts, and that's a double kill for your Quap. And now it's going to be Ice in the midst of trouble once again, trying desperately. It does get the finish on KP.
Deny. Can he deny? No.
That would have been an amazing play. But
there's a double damage there. They can finish the Roche. Roche was on half HP after they ditched it.
They say, yeah, they're not even going to look at the
Shrine
rune.
first. All right.
That's smart. It was a sweaty fight, so let's shower up, get that double damage, finish up the Roche, and really open things up in this game.
That's the problem. Disruptor being only disabled and he is missing his spells. You can't win a fight like that.
And Newbee will go back into action here. They actually don't even go for the double damage at the moment. But they have great wards down, all watching near that ancient high ground side of Faceless, so any approach from Faceless is going to be easily spotted. I think KP has picked up his Blink Dagger now, so that's going to be available to him. First one on the scene is going to be Ice Ice Ice. He's kind of trying to scout out what the hell's happening over here. Can he somehow find a way to turn the corner and pick up that Aegis? He doesn't go in quite yet. Now he decides to walk into action. The Roche goes down. The Aegis is going to get quickly snagged up from STCC. That's a nice Static Storm, though. Dropped right on top of the head of Newbee. They are going to be able to get the finish of TB. STCC, though, dishes out the Sonic Wave. Does massive damage that they'll help get the finish of Jabs. They do end up dropping.
XY.
A pullback right here. Can he get the finish? No. XY does get dropped. Black and Ice 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 will just have to walk out. Another convincing fight for Newbee here.
That was a good ulti disruptor. Managed to take down Terrorblade and also caught Batrider on the edge of it, so Terrorblade could not sunder. But once again, maybe Terrorblade could have picked up Aegis there.
Yeah, not sure how frantic of a moment it was. I mean,
Yeah.
Faceless were right outside. Ice 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 was running his way into the pit. It could have been a quick scramble for Newbee, but you know, SCC still has that Aegis right now. And Mugi can just get back into his farm work. They already have a couple of Ancient stacks for him here to work with. And in fact, he's got a BKB slotted up next, so screw you and your Static Storm, brother.
Screw Manta style. I'm going all in, super safe mode on.
Do you think it's a good call, considering the tempo they've already built up?
Yeah, it's the only thing he can die to, so...
Just taking advantage of the fact that Faceless still need more time to mature.
Also, you see a Queen of Pain. Also, the only thing he can die to is Disruptor's Glimpse and ulti. Once he gets his Lincolns up, you can't really glimpse him into anything.
Yeah, and obviously we'll get the extra stat padding to be able to survive, maybe even through a Static Storm here. So things just kind of maturing very wonderfully here for the side of Newbee at the moment. They cut across the top lane here, but they still have a tier 1 to even bring down. It's
Courier
just Black.
just died.
Oh, Dire Courier. It looks like Black was able to snag that one. He's a Slark this game. Arcworm was a bit better at being able to split the pressure. Oh, Black actually TP'd to the Shrine. They catch him with a lasso, but he's able to pack it off. They also help out with the glimpse there. Nuts will pay the price. Faith will get the finish on that one. And Newbee cleaned out the tier 1 and are already moving on forward for the tier 2 on top of it.
Sanking already tipping bottom. They want to prepare maybe... Who's that? Troll. He needs just +1 hero.
There it is. Goes in, slides forward, gets the burrow. The follow-up is going to be there with the Fiend's Grip, and XY has no way to stop him. He can only give him one little soul rip and hopes that somehow he'd survive his way through it, but that is not the case. The Troll is going to be going down. They even get a free 200 gold for the Tombstone, and why don't we take down that freaking zombie as well?
One more time. 8 deaths on XY.
Damn. Ooh. Hard game. Very hard game. Obviously, you're committing in for an Undying. You're hoping to get some serious laning aggression. Nice little glimpse back for SCCC. They followed up, but Black had already pulled off. Bit of a miscommunication there. They will be able to at least get the Aegis down. But at what cost? Faceless will step away.
Cost. This Kaka on Sanking, man, he's in 17 out of 21 kills.
Yeah, and it's like, you're not going to first ban it against Newbee.
Maybe a second ban.
But they pick it up in the first phase.
Oh,
is
it's
the
his
problem, you know?
signature hero.
Yeah, I honestly think we could be
also
seeing...
not only his, but also KP plays it if it's
That's
offlane.
true. And you have that kind of flexibility available. I don't think there's any reason Newbee could not pick a Sand King every draft moving forward in the first phase, really. But here we go. Moving on in. Already at just 23 minutes in, all outer towers are gone for Faceless. Well, Faceless still have a lot of work ahead of them here. I don't know if they're going to be granted the kind of timing they're hoping to take this into the later portion where somehow the Troll and Slark would be strong late game components, and maybe you'd have a Batten with a Radiance to help things out. The timing is
he's
just
getting
not right.
close to that. 3K, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. All right, they killed the tower. That will add some extra gold to Batten. Sanking just purchased Gem. All right, seems like they want to go all in, clear all the map from the enemy wards, have a vision of the Slark with a Shadow Blade.
KP got his 4-staff too, so it is
Double 4-staff.
yeah, Bat Rider tool belt is complete, and now can extract somebody from inside the base, and this offers that potential for Newbee to be able to close things out. They have a nice little lineup to be able to even siege and take care of the high ground too. It's very concerning for Faceless in this one. They continue though to just spread themselves out across the map, stalling and working with the clock as best they can. I don't really imagine there's going to be too many opportunities for them to even move on in and find pick-off potential onto Newbee. They're totally reactive to all of Newbee's movements and plays.
I'm not sure they can even go into super late game against Terrorblade, super farmed Queen of Pain, and look at Sanking his item right now.
Is under attack.
Yeah, they're all getting pretty gross and big.
Oh, XY, once again.
Oh, no, not again. He gets caught. There's the burrow. SCC's here, and he goes back to being dead, that undead man. Godlike already for SCCC.
Dire's bottom tower.
He's had a really good series. Even the game that they dropped in the start, he had a very nice game.
Second game, he was beyond godlike few times.
Yes, Queen
One
Pain's-
rampage.
Queen Pain is very, very good. Black pushes himself down that mid lane and quickly jumps out just as fast. He's been able to finish out what looks like his Lincoln Sphere now.
That's a good pickup,
Yeah.
especially against the Bat Rider and Sanking.
Even the Sunder of Terrorblade, too. I mean, if
Yeah.
it gets down to it.
Well-
So he's got some good defensive help with between the ulti and the Lincolns. Black has good survivability.
Yeah, but with two 4-staffs, one on Bat Rider, one on Sanking, they can pop it and then stun him, or just go with the lasso.
That is true. I don't know if he's revealed the Lincolns yet, though. He might have been spotted in lane with it, but he is still trying to remain a bit in the dark at the moment. They're not showing too much of themselves in the lane. And Newbee are just still kind of maintaining the pressure.
There it is.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, it's been spotted now, so they'll know to pop it ahead of time.
Black has fast fingers.
Yeah, he's able to quickly avoid the trouble there. He's smiling about it, too, but with the way this game is going, I don't know how big I would smile. Definitely a tough one for Faceless. Top two net worth both belonging to Queen of Pain and Terrorblade here. And Jabs is just kind of falling down that list with even Ice 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 stepping in front of him. He has now completed his Radiance, and look what he has slotted up. He's looking to go for the Ags to try to really mitigate as much of the damage as possible. And if you're going against like Epicenter, Sonic Waves, and big AoE team fight, I'd imagine that's got to be
That's
very
a good
helpful.
item.
Very
Yeah.
helpful.
Either that or pipe. But the problem is for Faceless, their two support heroes have pretty much nothing, and they're far. What levels are they? One is level 9, the other one is level. My PC is not working. All right, they need to get those levels up to level 10 so they can get the gold talents up. That might save them.
Faceless creeping their way through the mid lane as a 5-man here, but they'll eventually have to step off. Top lane's pressuring a bit. Maybe knowing the Roche could be up in the near future, they want to make sure they have everything cleared out and ready. Newbee, though, seem not concerned with Faceless at the moment and are already kind of headstrong with their own game plan here. They still sport that about 9K net worth advantage. I like when I say the net worth and they happen to bring up the graph at that moment.
And it says
it's like
7,
I'm in tune.
and it
with
says 7.5.
I'm reading the top, and it actually just went down, so all right, lay off. All right, Newbee. We have Kaka here, eager to move in, gets the ward to the high ground now. They find Ice Ice Ice, but Black quickly springs into action, looking to get a hold of Faith here. Hiding within the Shadow Ward, looking to go for the quick finish. Can he get it? STCC dishes out the Sonic Wave, finds good target. Static Storm on top of the head here, but Moogie already transformed and begins to right-click it home. Black's going to be going down. Jabs will be next, and this fight continues to belong to Newbee.
And the Roche is up.
How
Oh my
convenient.
god.
It happened to come up at that moment. The Frog has been pleased with your fight so far, Newbee, and rewards them with the Roche.
Well, Slark has to focus that Bane in a fight, but also he doesn't have enough damage to bring him down that easily. Ah, you're not going anywhere, boy.
Mega kill for Kaka as well. This has been Newbee's strongest, most convincing performance of the tournament so far, I'd say. Really unfortunate for Faceless. They had so much fight potential game 1 going their way. Game 2 also could have been theirs. But now this one feels even more out of their grasp than ever before. Looks like Ice has actually changed his build-up, too. He's not going to be pushing forward for the Agnum Scepter. He's actually going to be going for the Solar Crest. Yep.
Yeah, he had great success in the game number 1 on that Night Stalker.
And when you, I guess, see the Terrorblade as the one true damage cannon, it'll be very beneficial to have the Crest to help out here. How about for Black? I saw an ulti orb in his queue, but he's looking to finish out, what, the rest of a Scotty? Silver Edge, yeah.
Silver Edge, yeah.
Still got some work cut out for him, though. All right, Newbee, come back together, and it's time for them to make action happen. They pop their smoke. They begin to head towards the mid lane where they have spotted out some Faceless members. They even have a ward still on that nearby high ground. Ooh, a very tasty double damage room. Going to get quickly picked up from Black. Kaka tries to jump in to stop it from happening, but Black's able to make it away. Now the Tombstone going to be committed to the low ground. They dish out the Fiend's Grip to lock down XY. He should be set to drop. Nuts on the other side commits him with a Static Storm. Should help Black go in and go for the finish. They will be able to bring down the Aegis here. But do they have enough in the tank for any sort of second round fight? It doesn't look like it. Black rather looking to already head out the other direction. Should be able to make it inside and safe.
They should just de-ward everything from Faceless. There's not a single ward right now on the map. Pretty much black map for the Black and the crew.
Split pressure from Jabs up to that top lane, but could be only delaying the inevitable here.
Oh, look at the Queen of Pains build. She's going for Shadowblade and is going to upgrade it. That's the Penicillin for Abaddon, that build. Orchid and
he
the
better,
break.
Yeah, that's just, you can't get anything off at all. They're very true. That is rough for Daryl. We'll see here. He steps on forward. He's trying to be the gatekeeper here for Faceless. Mugi continuing to siege, though, with all of that powerful damage from the low ground. But now they're trying to force him back a bit. Kinetic Field trying to separate things. KP not striking quite yet to try to grab a hold, but they give him a Lincoln Sphere. Now might be his time. Who's their best target here? Maybe look to go for Jabs. Can they find the move? Oh, they can jump all the way across. Was that a Lincoln's pop for the lasso? It was.
Yep.
Trying to get the lasso grab onto Black, and that was just his Lincolns. Oh.
And they're gone. Yeah, Terrorblade, the meta is down, so 5-man shower or not, it's not ready.
It looks like Faceless have been actually gifted that chance to stay alive in the mid lane. I mean, not like the game would have been over at that moment, but had that been a successful lasso, things would have been very, very different. But looks like Faceless will be awarded some additional time here, as Newbee hold things out for the Metamorph to come back online and maybe even get a hold of that Queen of Pain Shadowblade. It's done now.
Abaddon might consider going for a BKB right now. It's the only thing that can save him. Maybe Yule Scepter or Manta Style. Not really a Manta Style carrier, but BKB should do fine.
I don't know. He doesn't know yet that the Silver Edge is going to be coming out. So for now, he's only slotted up the Agnum Scepter. But you're right. If he is privy to it, he might have to adjust the build if he's hoping to stay alive in some of these fights. Faceless pressure out the bottom lane a bit, but it looks like Newbee are making their way over. Looking to go for a grab here. KP leading out the charge. And they've spotted out Ice. He is going to be able to muscle his way past the lasso, but can he make the long journey home? It doesn't look like it. He's already said to the fact that he's been surrounded here, and he will slowly be brought down. He's out of this one now for a minute without a buyback.
Big epi on Kaka.
I heard an epi, but I don't know if it hit anything. It looked like it did a lot of work onto XY here, and he will also go down without a buyback. Now Newbee move on in. They clear out the Tombstone and get back to work now onto the Tier 3. Terrorblade, Metamorph is available now if they want to commit for it. But the split pressure is coming. Faceless are pushing in the high ground themselves, and we're going to have a little bit of a race here. Faith is already going to be heading back to the base, but Mugi and SCCC go in for the Tier 3. Faceless trying to exchange, but look at the damage Newbee are able to do. Faceless cannot match up with this. They got to get back and help out. They're about to lose their Rex.
Wow, and they managed to take down Nuts as well.
Now it's going to be Jabs here in action. He has his BKB. He tags the Shrine and begins to go back to work, but SCCC will easily jump to the low ground and make it away. Black decides to try to step out from the base, but they quickly evaporate XY. Poor guy. What is he at? 0 and what?
0.76. What is that? I can't see, actually.
Sorry. Tough stuff here. Newbee will clear out the first racks of the game. The options here for Faceless comeback seem to be very, very thin.
Tough game for supports on Faceless side. Both have no escape mechanism, no items that can help them survive.
Faceless will frantically fight their way out, but as you alluded to, just the item buildup is not appropriate for what they need to get done. And they don't have too many options on being able to shut it down on the Newbee side, but Black is back into action here, and he continues to pressure the side lanes as much as possible. Faceless's hope is still somehow pushing this into an even later game, but as you can see, it just feels way too far ahead of them. Newbee do have a serious net worth advantage, and that is something that could swing the other direction if something was to go favorable for Faceless, but...
Can you read the number for me? The net worth number?
16.7, 0.8, roughly around there.
And it's rising, and it's dropping. Full Silver Edge finished on Queen of Pain, so right now she can insta-kill a Baron. There's no way with a Silver Edge and Orchid.
Oh, I like that. KP leapfrogs over. They're going to be able to pop the Lincolns and get the lasso secured, and Black will go down. Nice chase right there. Newbee will punish down the Slark and now could move things on forward if they would like, and it looks like they're thinking about doing that through the top lane possibly.
With a full Scotty finished on Terrorblade, they should just go for other tier 3s and other set of Rexes. Troll really can't move against that kind of a slow.
Here's Newbee now, going to be hanging outside the front door of Faceless's base, and we got to question how good the high ground defense is for Faceless. They have some choke point fighting with the benefit of something like a Static Storm, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. They have to hope for maybe a bit of an overstep by Newbee's side.
They tried to go for Ice, but that was only the illusion. Queen of Pain and the rest need to go back and try to push.
It looks like Black is going to be back here for the defense now. Only 15 more seconds, and he's going to be up and ready to play. Newbee go back in one more time. It's going to be Ice out in front. He gets hit with the borrowed time, and Mugi steps away. He's now in Metamorph. They're looking to go back in. There goes the Troll ulti. Can't quite right-click anything, though, but he does manage to get a hold of Kaka. Holds and hides within the Static Storm and is able to muscle back Newbee for now.
Fate is alone.
Oh, SCCC, though, in the meantime, finds some split pressure of his own, is able to take down the tier 3 in the mid lane. Now looks to turn it around with the help of a Sonic Wave. It's Black hiding under the Shadow Word, trying to fight it out with Faith. Can't quite get the finish. They turn it around on Black instead and take him out of the game. Over a minute, and he does not have a buyback. XY will also go down. Kaka dishes out his own buyback because they're going to be looking to take this one home and finish it out. Moving into the fight is going to be Jabs, giving it all he got, trying to take it to the Terrorblade. Can he somehow win this one? No. He goes down.
And the cheese.
Triple kill for Mugi, and he fights on. Epi's going to be there as they jump to the back lines to take down Nuts. They turn back to go for the racks here. It's Jabs at it again, but again unsuccessful, and that will do it. Newbee have fought their way through a very tough series here, dropping game number 1, battling past an 80-minute game number 2, and dominating game number 3 will earn their right into the next round.
Wow, what a performance by Newbee. SCCC on that Queen of Pain, both games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing. Plus Kaka, we gotta give that guy some credit as well. 12-minute blink, 4 staff, 17 minutes, buys a gem, continues to dominate, 2, even 3-man burrow strikes.
Congratulations again, Newbee. Props to Faceless. They make their attempted run, but they will now be out of Star Ladder. And we look forward to seeing more from them in the future. But I mean, when you try to pin it on anything here for Faceless' side, I mean, is it as simple as saying that their draft, it just wasn't good enough? It was going to take too much time?
It takes too much time, and their support duo was not that strong. I mean, Undying and Disruptor, they need so much time to actually kick in, and there was no rotations early game, so they ended up being under-leveled, and it was just a free food later on for a Sanking and Queen of Pain.
Well done by Newbee. They get the win here. So let's go ahead and throw things over to Nahaz in the panel to see how they evaluate game number 3.
We are halfway home at Super Saturday from the Starladder I-League Invitational as Newbee advanced 2-1 over Faceless. 18-0 and 15 was SCCC on his Queen of Pain in the deciding game. As I bring back my panel one more time, Capitalist and Jack. Guys, we talked before the series about how SCCC really needed to be on these scaling do stuff heroes. You saw it in the last 2 games. They may have found a solution in the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, they definitely did a really good job controlling that game. I have to give props to Faceless. I had a hard time seeing how they could actually give themselves enough space, enough time for their course to come online. And I think to some it may look like, some uninformed, it looks like just blatant feeding, you know, just kind of running down lane. But they did have to create space. It was one of those lineups, those weird lineups where you could afford like 3 deaths for every kill that you picked up sort of situation. You had to be able to create space, not just for time, but opportunities for your cores to be able to find certain pickoffs. So they did that to some extent and made this game, I think, closer than I expected, considering the drafts.
I was a little bit perplexed by some of the, so Faceless in a couple series in a row. I remember against OG, I think game 3 in Kiev, they also had this kind of tri-core lineup without much control. We saw them do this yesterday as well, and they dropped the game from it. And it seemed that they went away from that for a few games. Ended up having an ice on more of a tempo controller, on a hero that didn't require maybe as much farm to be disruptive. They went back to the old formula this game, and I understand if you want to be a little bit greedy than the other team to put some pressure on them, maybe if they pick 1 scaling core, you go with 2. It still has to be by degrees. So I'm perplexed by both the fact that they went back to that super greedy draft this time, and also by the fact that it seemed, like Cap said, it seemed that they were taking a lot of fights or being sucked into a lot of fights that they cannot win with this lineup. And so if you are able to, say, trade 2 of your cores or a couple of your heroes for a core kill that slows down Newbee and prevents them from snowballing, that's fine. That's a space-taking fight right there. But if you get drawn into these fights in the open where you can't hold anyone in place, Newbee are just kiting you around and bursting wherever they need to, so I'm perplexed by both the draft and kind of the game plan here. They looked a little lost.
Yeah, there was definitely a couple fights. There was one fight at like the bottom Dire Shrine area that I recall that was like kind of a fight that Faceless tried to force with only a couple of heroes, and Slurk didn't even have Shadowblade at that point in time, and it was like, you know, you really can't beat this team. As long as Newbee have grouped up, as long as they bring numbers to the table, they definitely win these fights. So I did see the same kind of situations that were kind of like, you're not, I felt like you're maybe not reading your high points as a draft.
Well, we are going to cut over to this interview, I believe, with Newbee's SCC going on in the background, but we'll keep on talking until we do that. I thought when you're talking about the tri-core lineup of Faceless being a little bit greedier, they did go back to that formula largely because Ice, they put him on the Abaddon. It was hard to argue too much with the Abaddon pick when the other team has a Bane and a Batrider. That hero's so much a counter with Aphotic Shield to the ultimates of those two. But I thought maybe the mistake was then picking up the Slark with the 5th pick. I thought you could have left the Troll as a safe lane hero, picked something with a little bit more tempo mid, and changed the complexion of the lineup in that way.
Yeah, but I think that's also hard to say no to, right? It's like, because you have Slark against, you needed a hero that would 1v1 against Batrider pretty well. The only other core I can think of would be Weaver at that point in time. And then you also need a hero that would be able to not just lane against him, but deal with Batrider as a hero, as well as the Bane, which Slark does pretty well, and it goes really well against the Terrorblade. They're probably looking at this and like, it checks all these boxes, you know, it kind of like fits what you have to have. And then it was also like, are you going to put jabs on a tempo controller? It seems like they're very set against that, against putting jabs on like one of those really early to mid game focused heroes. They seem very hesitant to go for that. I think you kind of need to do that. Like, you need to at least have that option in this patch for sure.
Oh, I agree, and that's just the style that they've played, right?
Yeah.
The Jabs is usually on those harder farming heroes. We've talked about the limitations in his hero pool in the past, and I think maybe that comes back to bite them here. I also think it's a case when you talk about, it's a trap that you can fall into in Pro Dota drafting where you counter the enemy team's heroes, but you don't counter their lineup.
Yeah.
You have the advantage in these hero versus hero matchups, but overall, your lineup isn't compatible with the pace of how the game's played.
You're counting on winning lanes and maximizing your lanes, but and you give up something too. I mean, you're talking about 3 sources of mainly right-click single target damage. That actually gives the Bane like defensive potential as well, and being able to save someone or disrupt the tempo of your damage, especially when you have no control. Then you have Terrorblade with the illusions. You expect him to be ahead because of lineup. I feel like Newbee showed their cards very early, and that's been a weakness of theirs. I think recently, like they clearly shown how they want to approach this patch. They want to have bullying laners. They're okay with running that single core, and they want something that scales but provides some tempo out of the mid. By picking that Queen of Pain early, they needed a pusher. It was pretty clear where they're going with this draft. And so Faceless had to decide how to approach it. There was no real surprises for them, and they chose this direction to go with, which is still like understandable and all right, but I think ultimately the execution, the decisions they made on which fights to take, I just really think that hurt them quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of teams are going to have to refine as we go forward. Again, I believe we are waiting on a post-game interview. I'm going to wait for confirmation on that. So we're going to talk for a little while longer about this series. Both series today, the play was a little bit uneven toward the beginning, and the team that won really, really turned it up at the end. I was saying that earlier about IG, that I felt that game 1 was a little shaky, but the way that they finished things in game 2, they looked ready to move on. They're going to face Alliance in our next series. I think you can say the same thing about Newbee. If they play like they played in game 3, I think they have a chance against Vega later today.
I think Newbee has a better shot versus Vega than IG. Actually, I'm not sure.
No, I'm going to take IG.
I think it's kind of even between both of these matchups, because I can actually see IG beating Alliance or vice versa. I think Alliance is not in terribly bad shape right now. And IG definitely started ramping up, but it's another series. You never know what kind of performance. And
right.
And I think for me is like, I think IG is the better team right now than Newbee. Newbee still looked very shaky to me. That game 3 was like, it was well executed and everything, but I think Faceless gave you a lot of opportunities to look good. It was just kind of like one of those games where you take early control and you just kind of build from there. As long as you're patient and you execute, then I think most teams would be able to close out that game. You give any other team, I think, at this tournament, like put them in the Newbee seats at 20 minutes, they'd be able to win that game. So. I think it was just like IG look a little bit better to me.
Fair enough.
I agree with that. I think if you're Newbee, you're more relieved than anything at being able to take the series. I don't think you don't think you found some kind of eureka moment or some kind of great revelation. It's kind of like we went back to something that worked. This is how we want to play.
Okay, so we are going to go ahead and cut over to an interview with Newbee's SCCC.
Please say hi to all your fans. Hello everyone, I'm SCCC. The female fans in the stadium must be really happy. And there's no fat translator anymore. In the first match, you guys started out pretty in a dominating fashion. What do you think happened during the mid-game? We discussed that the high ground was really hard to go on because there was a tinker there. And it's pretty hard to get the right initiation. And the R cordon was really annoying with the split pushing. So we discussed that we should probably find an opening, get a few picks before we go on the high ground. Next match is really crucial to your advancement, and against Vega. How do you guys think you'll perform? When we went back yesterday, we discussed and we watched a lot of replays. And at the very least, we feel more confident than yesterday. Let's come to a conclusion. During the first day, Chinese teams didn't do very well. So in general, do you think this is something due to just being Chinese teams are slightly weaker right now? Or is it due to the current patch? I feel that right now it has more to do with the patch because it's a new patch and we don't have a very good understanding of it. Thank you to all the fans. And I'll keep trying harder.
感谢深深接受我们的采访。那让我们稍休息，回来之后将会是 A 组的一场生死大战。Alliance 将会对阵 IG， 我们稍后见。
And that was Newbee's superstar mid player, SCCC. Apparently the Chinese ladies in the audience very happy that he will be moving on. Jack, I'm sorry I had to cut you off there going into that interview. Did you want to finish that point?
I don't recall what point it was.
He finished it. He finished it. I remember.
All right, strong.
It was. If you guys don't remember, it was actually a mind-blowing piece of knowledge that we all forgot because it was so good.
I'm old. That's my excuse.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, we are going to go ahead after that marathon series. Newbee triumphs 2-1. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We will be back in just a few minutes with Invictus Gaming against Alliance in our third series of the day.